You are listening to an exclusive interview on Bass Musician Magazine. The interview starts now.
Hey everybody, this is Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of chatting with bassist and vocalist Logan Layman.
Hi.
Hi. As you might notice, Logan is a very young and up-and-coming bassist. She's been in note a couple of years ago. She was named the youngest female bass player endorsed by Music Man, and so a claim to fame there until somebody younger shows up. But that said, let's take a step back and talk about your musical journey. How did you get started in music and on bass?
So really, my brother is my inspiration. My brother was, when he was 5 years old, so he's 3 years older than me, he was diagnosed with development delay, which is a disability where he was extremely weak and he couldn't hold pencils, and he barely had the strength to do daily-to-daily activities. Mm-hmm. So my parents bought him a guitar in hopes that it would magically, cure his disability, and it actually did, and he fell in love with it, and he started playing so much, and my brother and I have always had such a strong connection. So when he started playing guitar more like by himself, he wouldn't hang out with me as much. So I was like, okay, well, I need to pick up the bass and start playing with him so I can spend time with him. And then ever since I picked up the bass, we've just been together like this. We've been playing together, we write songs together, and I wouldn't change anything.
Are you self-taught? Do you take classes?
Yes, I am self-taught. My brother and I we haven't had any experience going through lessons, and we aren't the best music readers. We play mainly by ear. And the blues is improv, so it's all by ear. We don't need something written out to be able to play the blues.
And that explains why your favorite, they've got you kind of listed as being fond of indie blues.
Yeah. Indie blues, jazz. We love traditional blues. I'd say that's my favorite type of music. And then to funk, to rock. Mm-hmm. We have a bunch of different sounds we like putting in our music.
You are one of the unique musicians that plays bass that actually sings, so you're kind of front the band as well. Do you find that challenging?
Well, I used to think it was challenging because I'd have to learn the bass part, and then I'd have to learn the vocals and put them on top of each other, which it would take me a while. But now, since I've been doing it for so long, it's kind of come just with a lot of practice and time doing it, it gets so much easier. So now, if I'm learning a new song, I don't have to learn the bass part or the vocals first. I can just put them together instantly.
As we're talking about playing bass, tell us a little bit how you're getting your voice. I saw your kind of signature Music Man bass with your name on it.
Oh, I love that bass. Ernie Ball made me a custom chili red Music Band 4-string bass. Beautiful. The most beautiful. Oh, I love it so much. It has 2 humbuckers and it has standard pickups, and it's made out of a maple wood, which it's just the most beautiful warm sound, and it's so bluesy and jazzy and gritty, and I love it so much. I'm just so honored that they built me such a beautiful bass and such a well-made bass that sounds as sweet as it does, and I love it so much. When I see other basses, I'm like, my bass is better.
There you go. It's great when you can start out finding a bass that you love early on, because as I'm sure you've noticed, there's a lot of gear acquisition syndrome in the bass community where people will have 10, 20, 30 basses, and they're constantly looking for that one that's the special one. So you're very fortunate that way. How about amplification? Any particular tastes?
I do have a Fender Rumble 150 right now, which I eventually want to upgrade with the bigger festivals and things like that. But it's doing really well. Fender amps are really, really good. I've only ever used Fender amps, so that's all I know. Yeah, Fender Rumble.
There you go. Any selection in strings or other things?
Ernie Ball strings, definitely.
But of course.
Ernie Ball bass, Ernie Ball strings.
Now, I know that you and Cole are actively performing live, but any plans or projects in the works?
So we actually just released our album, Strong Roots. We released it about last month, and we were actually ranked, so we're from Williamsburg, Virginia, and we were ranked #1 in Virginia for new album releases, and Jason Mraz was ranked 5th.
Wow.
It was pretty awesome because we worked really hard on it. We actually wrote all of those songs about 3 to 4 weeks before we recorded them in the studio, which was really fun. But so Strong Roots, definitely big work in progress. We're trying to get that out there. We've had a ton of reviews from like different places like Belgium, France, Czechoslovakia, and all these different places, which is pretty amazing. And we actually also, about a month ago, along with the CD, we got signed with the Endless Blues record label. And we can't wait to see where that takes us. We're very excited. And that originates in Clarksdale, Mississippi. We just plan on, of course, we want to make a career out of music. And although it may not happen with the blues, we're always going to play the blues. We're never going to switch to make money because blues is where our heart is. We're never going to fade away from that.
In an ideal world, many musicians will tell you that if you can make a living doing something that you love, it's not like working at all. So hopefully it will make some money so that you can feel compelled to keep doing it, right? So you don't have to divide your attention. In addition to, I'm sure you'll be working on future albums. Any touring plans?
So in the summer, we plan on touring. So far, we have gigs alongside the East Coast. I want to venture out, especially to different countries. Oh, we have wanted to do that for so long, but it's expensive. So we look forward to trying to see what opens up, what gig offers we get, or what we can reach out to see and actually really schedule a tour this summer.
And because you're such a young player, I know that you've got a whole path ahead of you, but for prospective young girls that might like to play bass, what advice would you give them? What have you learned so far?
So, being a girl playing the bass, you get a lot of attention. I love attention. Everybody, who doesn't love attention? So it's very unusual to be a female bass player, especially to sing and to be doing it for so long. So since it's unusual, I want to inspire younger girls to pick up the bass and start playing because it's not something you see every day. So doing something like that you'll be like catch other people's attention, make them look up to you and want to start doing the same thing that you're doing. Bass players there's a ton of jokes that make fun of them and like they're easy to replace and stuff like that just because there's a lot of bass players, but I feel like there needs to be more diversity and I feel like girls can step up and just play it as badass as they can, like even more than guys, and like they shouldn't feel like they can't do something like that because it's a manly instrument.
I suppose statistically, if you think about it, there's one bass player for every 10 guitar players. Yes. So there's a lot less of us. That puts us in big demand, and female players, even a lower portion of the population. So we're always pleased to see up-and-coming new bassists digging in and making a name for themselves. Folks, you've seen her here, Logan Layman. Make sure you pay attention to her and her brother Cole. The best website to find them, www.3inlaymanterm.com.
Inlaymanterms.com.
Terms. Got it. Perfect. Let's stay on top of what you're doing. We'll keep track. We wish you the most continued success in the future, Logan. You've seen her here on Bass Musician Magazine.
Thanks for bassing out with us here on BassMusicianMagazine.com.